Hey, what's up guys? It is Chris Luck. Today I'm going to be talking about is a $500 camera versus an iPhone versus an $1,800 camera versus a $4,000 camera. Is one worth more than the other when it comes to vlogging? Find out in this episode. Okay, so today's video is what camera is best for vlogging. And like I said, I got the cameras. So the $4,000 camera will be the EOS R5, the Canon R5. Filmed, everything with that camera will be filmed in 4K on a full frame sensor. The $1,800 camera is the Canon EOS R, just the regular R, full frame sensor, filmed in 1080p. I will be using that one in 1080p. And let's see, the $500 camera, which includes the lens, is the Canon EOS M50. It is the refurbished one. It comes with a 15 to 45 lens, which is actually equivalent to a 24 to, I guess 24 to 70. That one has a weird ratio, and that will be recorded in 1080p on a it's not a crop sensor. It could be a crop sensor, but I think it's micro 4/3. I'm not sure. I'll put that in the description. And then I'll also be using the iPhone throughout this video to see if there's a better, depends on what you want to do, obviously. But overall for vlogging, most people have their camera to their face like this. So a lot of lightweight options come into mind, which is nice with the M50, and the iPhone's really lightweight. The full frame cameras are pretty heavy, pretty expensive. So, and the lens that I'm using for the full frame cameras, the
Sniper.
R5 and the R. Sniper, come here! The lens that I'll be using for the R and the R5 is the 24 to 70 Sigma 2.8. Reason I'm not using my 15 to 30 is because I want to keep them all kind of looking with the same focal length, so you can't obviously tell which one is which. So, pretty day out. Hey, big guy. They'll also all be using the same microphone, which is the DJI D4 Duo. I've come to really like this microphone just because it's under $100. It's got a front and back recorder, and it's just pretty nice. It's lightweight. Yeah, it feels natural. It's not super bulky. So I do like that microphone a lot. What are you doing, big guy? Ew. So I'm at Mayflower Beach here in Kodiak. As you can see, I do live in Alaska, living the Alaska life. I started my YouTube channel, well, a long time ago for video games and whatnot, but I decided to start vlogging because a guy known as Live Each Day, he used to be called, I forget what his old channel was called, but basically I started vlogging because he moved to Alaska, and I realized that Alaska is civilized, it's easy to live in, and you got the life. Look at these birds over here. They're kind of hard to see. Yeah, I didn't have the right lens for those birds, but yeah, so that's basically why I started my YouTube channel. I want other people to see how it is possible to follow your dreams. I lived in New Jersey and I did not like it there at all. And I got a job opportunity here and I took it. So I drove across the continent, New Jersey to Alaska, 4,500 miles in the middle of winter. So if I could do that, you guys could do it too. I'm not saying I recommend that. I'd rather go in the summertime and explore, but yeah. As you saw from the time lapse, it's kind of rainy in some spots, so I'm hoping when we go to Fossil Beach, it will be a little bit nicer out. Like this. This is perfect. I'm pretty good with this. As this video goes on, each camera will be labeled A, B, C, and D, and I'll have you guys write in the comments what camera you think is what, and also what camera you prefer. And at the end of the video, I'll reveal what each camera is. So when it comes to vlogging, everyone has their own purpose, whatever your YouTube channel is, or Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever you guys use the most. A lot of things come to play, and it's not just video quality. For example, I prefer to use a lighter weight camera with some zoom options to show off where I'm at. And if they're heavy, like the thing, I like using the full frame cameras because they're really nice quality, but if they're too heavy, I kind of don't want to vlog with them. And that comes to making videos and content and whatnot. So you don't want to be carrying a 15-pound camera. Well, they're not really 15 pounds, but sometimes they feel like it. You know, a big thing that I prefer is definitely having a lightweight camera. So we're gonna start heading down to Fossil Beach. We'll continue that time lapse along the way. What are you doing, Snipe? Big eye! Traffic jam here in Kodiak. It's gonna make Sniper go nuts. Also, if you look ahead, you can see some clear skies. Well, let's just pay attention to these big guys though. And look at the babies too. Hi, big guys. Didn't we see babies last year? Hi. Hi, babies. All right, well, Sniper's gonna go nuts. See you guys, have a good day. Well, had some dirt in my lens. I don't know what that was about. So this here is Fossil Beach. Let me get a better angle for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Sniper's going nuts. And we're gonna walk along that edge over there. So I'm gonna finish getting ready, get the dog ready, and then we'll start heading that way. There's a little ptarmigan down there. It's hard to see. I don't have the right lens on. This is still my vlogging lens. So cute. First little climb over Fossil Beach. Really pretty. It's got that coastal terrain that everyone loves. You see we're just missing the good weather because the clear skies are that way. So one thing about having a crop sensor or a micro four third lens is you don't get the full frame, well obviously, that you get with a full frame, because my M50 has a 15mm lens, it's really equivalent to 24, but I prefer to vlog on a 15mm lens, and it's really hard to find a good wide angle lens for the M50. I think they have adapters, and I haven't looked too much into it, but I'm still personally trying to figure out what's the best vlogging camera for myself. That's why I'm making this video, and we'll go over the footage together. However, you gotta look at this. This is creepy. Well, not creepy, but first of all, there's the fam. Say hey, fam. Wave. All right, she didn't wave. Look at this though. Woo! Woo! Is that gorgeous or what? What about this side? Oh. Oh man. That's scary, to be honest with you. I'm kind of scared. I hate heights. Yeah. No thanks. That's Passaic Shack Point right here. and that's Surfers Beach right here, and then that's Fossil Beach right there. So it's really cool. I really love Kodiak because there is quite a bit of diversity, and you can see the clouds above me. Speaking of diversity, it's kind of clear this way, and you can just see towards town, and that way it's just terrible. So that's just what you get with this kind of weather around here. But we found the sunshine, well, at least the no cloud part. So we're gonna go further up. There's some bunkers back here. I'll show you them. This is actually where I filmed, I think, my very first vlog was Fossil Beach. First, second, or third. Okay, I'm falling. Okay, so here's one of the bunkers here at Fossil Beach. You can see it's, well, a bunker, I guess, but it's really like falling off the cliff. Because you see down there, and it's hard to tell from this, but that's just like 2 or 3 feet of empty nothing underneath. So this thing will eventually fall, which is kind of scary. I stand up here for the Milky Way ones. Check out this bunker right here. We're gonna test the low light of this camera. Sniper, did you do all this graffiti? Who did the graffiti? Huh? Who did it? So the one thing with this bunker is the echo. The echo. So, yeah. This is the final camera that I'm testing, camera D. I had them labeled underneath throughout the whole video, so you know. And yeah, this place is pretty nuts. Look, there's Angelica. Would you guys walk in this bunker? This has steps to it. This has steps, but it's soaking, it's full of water. You ever see this one? Look at that. Pretty view, huh? And then there's a factor of vlogging called image quality. Obviously, I think audio is more important than video, but I don't want to watch a 480p video, so your camera definitely has to have 1080, if not 4K. And you might as well try to go future proof, but 1080 is honestly perfect. Most people watch videos on a smartphone. Comment below if you're watching this on a smartphone or a computer or maybe even a TV. I notice when watching vlogs, my own or other people's, if I'm watching on a TV, like my 75-inch TV, 4K is kind of the only option. 1080 is, it's not terrible, but 4K is definitely way better. But I mean, look at this view. Oh, it's so epically beautiful. And then, speaking of image quality, you know, it comes down to what is your purpose for the video. If you are showing really small details of things, or let's say I wanted to show you Ugak Island, and I'm pointing at Ugak Island, and I can zoom in, and let's say I zoom in like that, right? It's okay. It's not a big deal. There's between 4K and 1080, it's not a huge deal. I mean, if Angelica was right there and I wanted to zoom in, I could really get a nice detail with 4K, so I could zoom in with whatever lens I have, and then with 4K I could probably crop it, you know, 2 times and it should be no issue. 1080 I think looks good until you start cropping in. If you decide to start cropping, it kind of deteriorates the image quality. But overall, I think most vlogs are like this. If you're trying to show small detail, even 1080 is fine. Unless you have to zoom in, then I'd recommend 4K. Man, look at this. I am not going that way. This is as far as I'll let myself go. I boot the edge. So another thing is if you are running a lot and your camera doesn't have image stabilization, it can hurt the image quality. I don't want to watch a video where I'm getting a headache seeing everything shake. I mean, if you're not doing it all the time, it's not a big deal. But if you're doing a lot of that, honestly, if you get a good wireless microphone, you can make a GoPro or an iPhone work pretty good for that. Or they have so many action cameras now. If you're doing running and trail running and whatnot. Man, this view is so nice. Here's the rocket launch. Somewhere. Yeah, right there. Yeah, the whole thing is the rocket launch. So, they have missile defense here. And they've had a rocket they've had a few actually that came up and down. I have a video on that on my channel. But honestly, when it comes to vlogging, audio is more important than video as long as you have 1080. If you like to show a lot of wildlife stuff, and obviously you know your camera and whatnot, so you're not going to use your iPhone for a lot of wildlife stuff. Probably want to use an R5 and take advantage of that 4K slow-mo, or look at this dog. Who's a big guy? Who's a big guy? It all depends what you're doing overall. But through this video, did you notice huge difference in image quality? So, I mean, it's 4 different cameras, and there's a lot of options out there. 1, most people have on them at all times, the iPhone. 2, the M50, pick it up for $500, and it's super lightweight. You don't have to worry about that weird HDR factor on the iPhone. I like the M50. It comes with that zoom lens, 15 to 45, which is 24 to 70 equivalent, which is what I've been using, 24 to 70 for all of this video, except for the iPhone, obviously. And after I watch the footage and edit it and whatnot, that is going to be a big factor into making my choice. I think I'm still going to switch around depending on what I do, since I'm very all over the place with my vlogs. Some are more wildlife focused, some are more hiking focused and whatnot. How do I mute him? It's okay. And when you go to edit, like 4K on most computers is it depends. I mean, if you have a piece of a computer, it doesn't matter. But I know for a fact that editing iPhone videos and my M50 videos with 1080, my ESR in 1080, perfect, flawless. Once I get into the 4K on my R5, I got to proxy the footage just to edit it, and that's very time consuming. If you're making 4 or 5 videos a day, you don't want to proxy gigabytes upon gigabytes of footage. It gets old. So anyway, we are going to enjoy this hike and see what else happens along the way. Or if you want to get really technical with your vlogs, you can use this wireless mic, so you could do things like this. I tell you right now that camera I'm using was my most used camera that I used last year for vlogging, and I love it. The issue is this camera that I'm using right now is the M50. So it's got a $500 camera, including the lens. I have a ND filter on it. It's only 15 to 45 millimeters, 24-70 equivalent. I could look into a wider lens, but I just don't see a purpose for right now because it's working for what I'm using. There's no point to me buying $300. He's okay for now. Come on up. And the reason this is my favorite is because it's so lightweight. I don't want to use my iPhone phone because I use my phone for other stuff like my drone and whatnot, and I don't want to kill the battery. This has a lens to do that, so that's what I like about this camera so much. Come on, Snipe, get in the truck. Come on, come on, good boy. But I've recently started using my EOS R5 and the R a lot more. The reason I use those is because sometimes I'm using the R5 for wildlife, and that's just a better camera for wildlife for what I have. So when I'm using the wildlife, I'll switch to the R. This is R5. I'll use the R when I'm using the R5 for wildlife. So I'm always changing, and that's just me. That's just what I do personally. If I just kept the M50 as my vlogging camera, my quality isn't the best. It really isn't. I'll take the full. I personally don't think there's a big difference between the EOS R1080 and the R5 4K for what I do. I just know that I want to use the M50 more for my vlogs because it makes me want to use it more because it's so lightweight. When I'm carrying this thing and then I got to switch between photo and video for photos of stuff, it gets really old really fast. So anyway, I will show you everything right now. And one last thing is M50 is the easiest to edit with, but I will tell you what all of the cameras are right now. Hey big guys, what's going on? Who wants a treat? Huh? Who wants a treat? Do you want a treat? Where you going? I'm just going straight. Bye big guys. Okay, so you have seen the footage yourself. You know what all of the cameras are. This is the EOS R that I'm using to record this part right now. And if you know me, or if you know a lot of people, there's really no best choice because conditions are always changing, especially for what I do. When I'm using my R5 for wildlife, I'll have the EOS R with my vlog setup. If I have a situation where I'm using both my cameras, then I'll use the M50 for backup. If I have a situation where I don't have my cameras on me but I have my phone, I'll use my phone. That's just the thing about videos, is there's a time and place for everything. But if you're just starting out, all you really need is one camera. And if you have your iPhone and that's all you can afford, that's plenty. I really believe that is plenty. I noticed when I downloaded the iPhone footage from the iCloud app on my Windows computer, it didn't save the 4K footage. It dropped it down to 720p. I had to email the 4K footage to myself. So I don't know what was up with that, but that's how I transfer the iPhone videos. I like the M50 just because it's so lightweight. This EOS R is pretty heavy to carry around all day. But that's gonna end this video. I hope that helped you in seeing what each camera can do video wise, and I know that you didn't get an answer for which one's the best, but they're all good. Like I said, if it's 1080, it's good. So with that guys, I'm out. See ya.